Welcome to the second segment in our second series on playing over changes. In the last episode we looked at playing from G to B7, and we're going to be doing that again. It's very important to take this stuff just one step at a time so that you feel quite comfortable. You could argue almost tired of playing that sequence or that change before you move on, so you know you've really got it in your head and under your fingers and so forth. So we had G7 to B7. Now I only played a couple of little ideas, but I'm going to play a couple more in this particular segment just to give you an idea. And I'm going to take a very basic idea here, which is to use really just the chord shape itself. Okay, now that seems very simple. And in a lot of respects it is, but it's only simple because I know where the notes in the B7 are going to crop up. Yeah, see how easy that can be. It's a difficult thing to explain this really, but when you play a note and you hear one chord behind it and you go, you think, okay, that's how I'm going to play it. You play it over another chord, somehow or other it feels different, and I think you play it differently when you know where you're heading. And there's loads of different lines we could play there, and that's obviously something I would hope you've done from looking at the first video. Okay, in this next example, I'm going to look at moving the G and the B7th to a different position. Now, before we had third position and second position, so they're very close to each other. So it would seem to make sense if we're going to keep our chords nice and close to each other to make life as easy as possible. If I'm playing a G here, okay, so this is a C-shaped G. That falls quite nicely to our B7, which is an E shape. So okay, so again here's the two chords separately. You'll see in the graphics that some of the note voicings, or chord voicings I should say, are in pink, some are in black. I haven't managed to get my software to do a circle which is half black and half pink, but hopefully somebody will message me about that at some point and say, you've got to press that button. Okay, so I've got a C shape here, and this is quite nicely positioned for a little bit of what I'd call, what is described I should say, as double stopping, which is just playing two strings at once really. Okay. It's really just moving from one tonality to another, but leaving this G on the top. Just fattens up the sound a little bit, but that's only one thing we could do. Okay, so where's that come from? Well, it's all part of the arpeggio of that B chord. Okay, if I was taking a chord reference for that, arguably I'd be thinking about a C shape up here at 11th position. Another example. What I'd like you to try doing is just find as many ways as you can of getting from one chord to the other. Okay, we want to hear that change. We want to hear, we want to articulate that change. Let's put it that way. It needs to be obvious to the ear of anybody listening to it that there's been a significant change in the chords. Okay, now in the next episode we're going to be looking at moving around with another chord change there in the sequence. But what I'm trying to do is just keep them in pairs for the moment. So we've got G to B7, that's 2 chords, that's 1 change, that's arguably enough to be starting with. That's it for this particular section, so just try giving that C shape G and the B7 a go and see what phrases you can get out of it, see how many different things you can get out of it. Really, really important to do that. When you're comfortable with that, it's time to watch the third segment. Thanks very much for watching, and as ever, if you could hit the subscribe button, that would be great, and bye for now.